This video found you 2 days before everything changes. That's exactly why you need to hear what I'm about to tell you. You've probably been walking around with a feeling that you want something to change, but you don't know how, when, where, and what you want. You know that you're craving some sort of shift, and that shift is about to happen. But what you don't
trapped in your hot car. I am all the days that you choose to ignore. Wants to share your life. I'm just an insect trying to get out of the night. I'm still with you because there are no
2番
日本語学校で先生が
3番
果物の食べ方がわかりません。店の人に何と言いますか？
1、
どうやって食べるんですか？
2、
これ、
しました。返事しました。お願いしました。紹介します。
as integer. So with that, we can understand clearly which type Python is using for integer and a string value, and this will not work. This can work only if you have like two integers or two strings.
if only hello. करने आँखों Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Maybe I'm stronger, but you don't feel wrong. This fire doesn't feel like everyone. Exercises back to you. Beyond all truth,
Hey friends, and welcome to this very unique course to master Python. And of course you might ask, what makes it unique and different from all, and only if the condition is true? That means Python cannot go and immediately like print the A. It has to consider first the if statements. If everything is fine, Python can go and print the A. And the same thing if you have like a second print, let's say great job. So that means both lines of the print are intended under the if. So they're gonna run only if the condition is true. And if you don't do that, you will get an error. And the indentation. And now we come to the question that why do we need those stuff and when we're gonna use it in real projects? Well, the main use case is that we use it in order to search and validate our data. As we are getting new data, we have to search for bad data and report at the end whether everything is clean or whether we found some bad data and bad quality. So let me show you now some real use cases. Okay, so now let's have an example. Let's say that I have a list of names and I would like to check whether we have any missing values. So let's have a very simple list of names, like for example, Kamara, and the
because we separate like ripples on a blank was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. There was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. There was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. Jumped in the river, what did I see? Black-eyed angels swam with me. The moon full of stars and astral clouds, and all the figures I used to see. All my lovers were there with me. All my past and futures. And we all went sailing in a little rowboat. There was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. Jumped into the river. Black-eyed angels swam with me. The moon full of stars and astral clouds, all the figures I used to see. All my lovers were there with me. All my past and future. And we all went sailing in a little rowboat. nothing to fear, nothing to doubt. There was nothing to fear, nothing to doubt.
but still we are processing it, which is really bad. We have to add here a control flow statement. So again, continue or break. Well, I would say I will not trust the data at all that I'm getting from this source. That's why I'm gonna stop everything and I'm gonna go and use a break in order to protect my system. So with that, as you can see, we are processing only the first 2 emails and everything else gonna be stopped. As you can see in this example, we have high critical risk in our system and we use break in this scenario. Now let's have a quick recap and compare them side by side. The first statement is the break, where we add a condition, exit the loop. Since all critical risk, we will in special cases, it's gonna say, for now, you know what, if without hitting a break. So all what we are saying here, okay, I went through the whole loop without any interruptions, and the for loop, they do nothing. So we use the else statement in order to run a block of code only if the for loop finishes naturally, normally, without hitting a break. So all what we are saying here, okay, I went through the whole loop without any interruptions, and at the end I'm going to do something extra. So let's understand what this exactly means. Now, as you remember, we used already an else statement, but together with the if statement as we are building the conditional logic. So we use the if statement together with the condition, and if it is true, then we print, for example, okay. And then after that, we said, okay, if it is not true, we could use the else statement in order to define what can happen if the condition is false. And for example, we say print not okay. So with that, we use else in order to define what can happen if the condition is not true. And then based on the execution, either we go to the right side or to the left side. But now if you look at the for statements, we said, okay, we have a sequence and we're going to repeat the same code multiple times until we don't have any value. And once the loop completed and we went through all the items, then we go and exit to the end. Now, if you look at this, you can see after the loop ended successfully, we don't have anything to do. It will just go and exit. But now instead of that, what we can do, we can add an else statement. So we put it outside the for loop. It's like you are doing if else, and then you define what can happen. Like for example, print end. And with that, we have defined an action that's going to be executed once the loop is completed. So as you can see, it is not exactly like the if else statements. At the if else, we went either to the right or to the left. With the for else, we're going to do everything. We're going to iterate through the whole loop, and as well at the end, we will be executing the else as we are exiting to the end. So now let's go deeper in order to understand how this exactly works. So again, we have this example where we have the 3 values, and now we add an else statement where we print an end. So this block of code can be executed if we reach the last item. So now if you go and execute it, the usual going to happen. So Python can ask, okay, what is the next item? We will get 1, and then we're going to go and print it. Then ask again to the next item, we will get 2, then print it again, and then to the last iteration, and then it can go and ask again for the next item. We will get 3 and print it in the output. So as you can see, so far we didn't execute yet the else statement because we are looping. Now I'm going to go back to the top and ask again what is the next item. Iterator going to say stop because we don't have anything left, and now the condition is true. That means Python can exit the loop, but before going to the end, we still have an else statement. So Python has to execute now the else, and we will get in the output an end. And after that, it can go to the end and stop everything. So as you can see, Python executed the else statement at the end after it went through the whole loop and iterated through all the values in the sequence. So this is exactly how the else statement works with the for loop. And okay, so now let's have a very simple example. We're going to go and create a classical for loop. So let's go and create a few items like numbers 1, 3, 4, and 7, and then a very simple loop. So for I in items, and in the output we will print the I. So let's go and execute it. As you can see, we have printed all the values in our sequence. So nothing fancy so far, but now what we can do, we can go and add an else statement. So now let's go to a new line, and be careful, you have to place the else at the same level as the for, not inside the for loop. So we're going to say over here else double point, and let's print something like loop is completed. Now let's go and execute it. Now as you can see, at the end of our iteration, we have this nice message saying loop is completed. So this is actually how you add an else statement to your loop. But here we have an issue. Our code now makes no sense at all, because what we are doing here, we are looping through the items, and at the end we are printing a message. Well, actually the else here is totally useless, because what I can do, actually I can go and remove it, and it's just simply like an instruction after the for loop. So after Python is done with the loop, just go and print the loop is completed. So if you go and execute it, you will get exact same results. So actually having an else like this is totally pointless and has no sense. And now of course the question is, if this is useless, then why we have an else statement in the for loop? Well, my friends, there is only one scenario where the else statement makes sense if you combine it with the break statements. You have to combine the break and the else in order to have a real usage for the else statements. So let's understand what this means. Okay, so now again back to our example, as we have a normal for loop with a break. Now if you go and add an else statement at the same level with the for loop, and we say for example print end, so with that we are adding a block of code if we reach the last item in the loop. So if this is true, then print the end and then exit. So now let's see how Python can execute it. As usual, Python can ask for the first item from the iterator, we will get 1, then it's going to check the condition, is 1 equal to 2? Well, it is false. That's why it's going to go to the print and print 1 in the output. Then it's going to go back to the top and ask again, give me the next item, it's going to be 2. Is 2 equal to 2? Well, this time my friend, it's going to be true. And Python going to go to the break statements and exit the loop, exit everything. And with that, my friend, you will get in the output only one value, the 1. So Python didn't execute the next value in the iterator, the 3, and very important, Python didn't execute the else statements. And that's because, my friend, the condition last item was never fulfilled. We didn't get true. That's why Python didn't have the chance to go and execute the else statements. And this is exactly why we need the else statements. We use it as an indicator to understand whether we iterated through all the items or we encountered an interruption. So as you can see, the break and the else statements, they work together in order to define this logic. So actually, it looks like this now. We have a for loop. And we want to repeat something over and over until the loop is finished. And once the loop is completely successful, we do something else using the else statements and then go straight to the end. So this is the normal flow if everything goes okay. Otherwise, we can go and build an if statement that we can check in each iteration. And as long as this condition is not fulfilled, we stay in the loop. But if this condition is fulfilled, then we make a break in order to exit the loop and then go straight to the end. So now as I am drawing this, the break statements really work hand in hand with the else statements. And they look like exactly the if else statements. So either the loop is completed and we execute the else statements, or the loop is actually broken and we are exiting using the break. So now really I understand now exactly why we are saying else, because either it's broken or else it is completed. And this is exactly, my friends, why I love doing visuals, because I understand then the logic, how things works. And this is exactly what I do usually. I draw the logic and then start coding the solution. It's now back to our example where the else statement is totally useless. Now we can make a usage of it. I would like to go now and build a check to understand whether in my list we have an even number. And if we don't have any even number, then we have to print in the output that all the numbers are odd. So we have to go and make a very simple if statements. And we're going to say if the remainder when we divide an item by 2 is equal to 0, then actually we found an even number. So we're going to go and print something like this instead of the I. We're going to say even number found, and then we're going to go and print this item. Now after that, we're going to go and break the for loop. And if we didn't find any even numbers, that means all the numbers are odd. So we're going to say all numbers are odd. So as you can see, back to what I do usually, I draw the logic and then start coding the solution. It's now back to our example where the else statement is totally useless. Now we can make a usage of it. I would like to go now and build a check to understand whether in my list we have an even number. And if we don't have any even number, then we have to print in the output that all the numbers are odd. So we have to go and make a very simple if statements. And we're going to say if the remainder when we divide an item by 2 is equal to 0, then actually we found an even number. So we're going to go and print something like this instead of the I. We're going to say even number found, and then we're going to go and print this item. Now after that, we're going to go and break the for loop. And if we didn't find any even numbers, that means all the numbers are odd. So we're going to say all numbers are odd. So So as you can see, it sounds like an if else statement. Now let's try this out and execute. You can see even number found, and we have the 4. Let me just add here a double point. So what happens here that Python did check the first number 1. Well, it is not fulfilling the condition and nothing happened. Same thing for 3, but for the 4 we have it true. That's why Python did execute this block of code. So it printed the message and then executed the break. That means everything stops. And in this scenario, Python will not execute the else statement. Again, the else statement is going to be executed if Python did manage to iterate through all the items completely without hitting the break. So that's why in the output you don't find this message over here. Now let's go and test something else where we're going to have all numbers are odd like this. So we don't have an even number and then execute. You can see in the output we get all numbers are odd. So that means Python did try all those numbers and none of them fulfilled this condition over here. So it didn't manage to execute the break. That's why the loop was completed and Python didn't execute the else statement. So now as you can see, the else statement here is totally useful. We use it in order to understand that Python did iterate through all the items and Python didn't execute the break and we didn't have any interruptions. And as you can see, it only works if you combine it with the break statements. And now we come to the question of that, why do we need those stuff and when can we use it in real projects? Well, the main use case is that we use it in order to search and validate our data. As we are getting new data, we have to search for bad data and report at the end whether everything is clean or whether we found some bad data and bad quality. So let me show you now some real use cases. Okay, so now let's have an example. Let's say that I have a list of names and I would like to check whether we have any missing values. So let's have a very simple list of names like, for example, Kamara and then Tuba. And the third one is actually missing. We have a none and the last name gonna be Monica. Okay, so now I would like to go and check whether we have any missing values. For that, we have to go and iterate through the list. So we have to go and create a for loop for name in names, double points. Now we're going to go and build a condition in order to check whether the name is empty. And for that, we're going to use an if statement. So if the name is none, then what we're going to do, we're going to go and print a message. We're going to say found a missing name. And after that, we don't want to continue. We have already found an issue in the data and that's enough for now. So I want to stop and exit the loop. Now let's say that we have checked all the names and we didn't fulfill this condition, so we didn't find any missing values. Now I would like to print a message saying that everything is okay. And for that, my friends, we use an else statement. We're going to say all names are available. Okay. Okay, let's try this out and execute. And now in the output, you can see found a missing name. That means it is working because we have here the third value as a none. And this made our condition fulfilled and activated the print found missing name and as well the break. Now let's try another thing. Like for example, we go and add a name here like Maria. And then let's go and execute. You can see in the output, we are getting all names are available because all names are there and this condition is never fulfilled. And since we iterated through all the values of our list successfully, we got at the end this print message from the else statement. So as you can see, we are using the break together with the else statement in order to search for something and validate our data. And this is something that is very common as you are doing data quality checks and quality assurance. Okay, so now let's have another example where we use this. Let's say that I would like to check whether all my files are CSV. So that means we have to validate the type of the file, and this is something that happens a lot as you process files. Okay, so now as usual, we start with an example. Let's have few data. Like for example, we have a file name called data1.csv, another one we have report.pdf, and the last one, let's say that's report2.csv. So now as you can see, not all my files are CSV. We have one of them as PDF, which is not really good. Now we have to check that. So we're gonna go and create a for loop for file in files. So now we're gonna go and create our checkpoints, and we are checking the files. What we are searching for is actually the last characters of each string. So that means we're gonna go and use the method ends with, and we have to pass for it our expectation. So it's gonna be .csv, but actually we are searching for bad data. So that means we have to search whether the file does not end with CSV. So we have to add the not operator. So what happens if your file is not CSV? First, we're gonna print a nice message, and we're gonna say, for example, let's print the file name. So the file is not a CSV. After that, we want to break. So we found something that is not correct, and we end the loop. Now, otherwise, if everything is fine, we have to just print successful message. So else print all files are CSV. So now let's try this out. As you can see, we are getting a report.pdf is not a CSV, and that's because it is fulfilling this condition, and this block of code is executed. Now let's try the other one. So if you remove the PDF to CSV and execute, you can see all the files are CSV. So as you can see, again, we use the break together with the else in order to check the quality of our data. And now there is like one thing that I'd like to show you. If we say, okay, this is a PDF, and we have another one, let's say it is data2.txt. So we have two cases where it is bad. Now if you go and execute it, as you can see, we are getting in the output only one. So report.pdf is not a CSV. So once we cached the first issue, the Python can break the loop. So actually we are not getting the second file over here, and that's because the loop stops. But now if you say, you know what, we can get as well the second one. If you remove the break and you say, you know what, let's go and use the continue. Well, let's see what can happen if you do that. Now if you're looking to the output, now we are getting the two files, report.pdf and data2.txt. But the issue, we are getting this as well. All files are CSV, which is not correct. So actually this makes no sense. And that's because you cannot combine the continue with the else. It's going to work only if you use break. So the continue, what can happen, it will just skip one iteration. It will not stop the whole for loop. So actually you cannot do that. It makes for me no sense. You have to go and use a break over here. And with that, you will get only one file. If you are not happy about it, you can just go and say here, not all files are CSV, and then execute it. So that we are not reporting as well where we have the issue. So this is how we work with the break and the else statements with the for loops. And now, my friends, as usual, I will not leave you without a challenge. And we have a tricky one. So the challenge says, check the following list of file names and find out whether we have duplicates or not. So if you found duplicates, you have to tell us about it. Otherwise, if everything is fine, just say all files are unique. Now, I'm really interested to see how you're going to solve it. So let's go. All right, friends, so now we're going to talk about something